girl Gracey Mae.
It's your boy with Rantz.
And we are joined by, not Ycee, not Dicey, but Ycee in the cut, in the building.
AKA Mr. Zaheer in the building.
Come on!
I'm very, very happy to see you again because last time you was on the show, you gave us a mad freestyle. I think last time you was on the show, your hair wasn't blonde and I had fake dreads. So we're both changed. A lot of change, yeah. A lot's happened.
We have to though commend you as the very first guest on the AfroNation Show on West Side. Did you know that you were the first guest?
On the West Side.
Yeah, come through 18 months later and you're back again.
Wow.
Serial culprit.
Loyalty.
Love to see
Let's
it.
go to bottle of champagne.
Next time we'll be the champagne, next time.
Coffee bottles.
Cool.
Alright, so you just had your London listening party for your brand new project. Tell us all about the project, tell us all about the party. Give us all the tea, sir.
Well, I mean, you know, basically, so Ycee versus Zaheer is my debut album. You know, it's my first album. I've worked on a couple of like EPs before, so that's, you know, a lot of people are getting it mixed up because I've been saying it's my first album, but you have other projects here, but those are EPs.
There's a difference.
So it's like pretty much, you know, Ycee and Zaheer are both identities that I use to quantify my personality in the sense that Ycee is, you know, the singing side of myself, and Zaheer is like, you know, the rap, hip hop, and everything else. So I mean, when I was working on the project, initially the album was titled, you know, the ANBT album. ANBT being Ain't Nobody Better Than. But you know, along the line of working on it and, you know, splitting from my previous label and setting up my own, you know, imprint, I just took the name of the album and just transformed that into my company, the ANBT company. So I'm pretty much, you know, signed to myself now. Yeah. And one of my managers, Crystal, came up with the Ycee versus Zaheer. You know, because Zaheer is like an AKA, a lot of people know me by it, so it was just...
I was going to say, I've heard that. I've seen it on the socials before, your Twitter handle, I think, at one point.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, you know what, this is what we're going to do, and it's, you know, it's a better way to properly introduce, you know, the Zaheer alter ego to people. So yeah, I mean, the album is 15 tracks long. It's got features from Miss Banks,
I saw her listening party.
David O, Dakota Burner, Fino.
You basically went all out on this project.
Nah, I mean, it's my first album.
You went all out. You basically made sure when it drops, it's going straight to #1.
Yeah, definitely. So like, you know, yesterday, I mean, I think that was the first time I actually played the album in, you know, public. And to be honest, man, I had like, I didn't even know what I'd call it, but I had serious butterflies in my stomach. And, you know, I even had to cut off the questions at some point, get some air, drink some more, and come back on. But by the time I started playing the music, I just felt a whole lot better because, you know, it's been a lot. There's been a brief pause in my career because of, you know, splitting from my former label and all that stuff. I had to properly set my business in order before releasing music again. So, you know, within that time, my sound has obviously changed. And, you know, I was just like, I hope that people are going to accept it because, you know, from 2018 to the end of 2019, there's a lot that I've gone through. There's so many changes that I've gone through. So when I was like, you know, thinking of this album, I think that was my only fear, the fact that, you know, I didn't want it to be like I've completely changed my sound, but I just wanted people to, you know, just give it a chance to understand that I've evolved in a way. So, I mean, the feedback was massive. You know, there's a couple. That's the thing about, you know, working on projects, because in your mind you already have your favorites. You already have the songs that you say, okay, this is what we want to push. But then by the time the fans and the consumers listen to it, it's a different reaction. So, like yesterday, I was able to say, oh, okay, you know, we weren't even thinking about this song, but when we played it, we got, you know, this amount of reaction on it. So
As the first project under Ain't Nobody Better Than, how has it been different, like as the CEO and the artist and the executive producer?
I mean, it's like, you know, I have a lot more freedom now.
Yeah,
I have, you know, a lot more creative freedom. I have a lot more free room to, you know, make a lot more personal decisions. But at the same time, I have a very active team that I work with. You know, I won't say because it's my company, you know, it's only what I say that goes. You know? I'm always, you know, open to listening to people. Like, no matter who, you know, whatever advice you give, I always feel like there's elements to be picked up on whatever people say about stuff. So at least I work, you know, hand in hand with my team. I have a team in London, I have a team back home. and you know we are all working together. Like if anybody has any concerns that's raised, we all work together to see how we can, you know, make the best of whatever situation. So you know, for me, it's like I'm working with people that understand what's at stake for me. You know, standing on my own, and you know, like people are just waiting to see, okay, what's Ycee gonna do next. So you know, the people I have in my corner, they fully understand what's at stake. They know that, you know, we have to kill it down to the last T. And yeah, I feel like that's exactly what we did. And you know, that's one of the best things about being independent, knowing that, you know, the people that are with you right now,
they're with you for your best interest, and not to go and benefit from themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Alright, so in the previous interview, you came out and said that you do not believe that the Nigerian rap game is on par with the South African rap game. You said that South Africans support their own and Nigerians like to bite each other. Would you like to explain that comment? Because it got a lot of traction, a lot of controversial responses to that. Do you stand by what you said?
Yeah, I mean, now more than ever, because like...
He said, I said what I said!
I actually said what I said, because like, if you look at the Nigerian, you know, hip-hop rap industry or whatever, like, the only time there's any form of excitement is when somebody's dissing another person, when there's some sort of beef.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the fans have been conditioned to believe that, you know, conflict and dispute is what is going to push the art form. But like I said, if you look at the South African market, not to say that there aren't people that have, you know, their beefs and their differences amongst each other, but it's not a situation that's celebrated. You know, I think that currently they have like the Vector and MI situation, and you know, I mean, I'm not gonna get into like details and say, oh, I'm on whoever's side, because it has nothing to do with me. But the only thing I would point out is like there's people that are basically just stoking the fires in the beef, and you know, they everybody just keeps saying the same thing, like beef is good for hip hop, beef is good for hip hop. But I mean, not in an industry that's still trying to find itself. You know, we still have to, you know, face the fact that the rest of the world is looking at any and every music that comes from Africa as Afrobeat, and you know, you're trying to compete with these like mega stars, the Wizkids, the Davidos, and you know, and then instead of working together, you now have this situation where it's like beef, like, you know, and when all rappers should be collaborating and pushing the art form to a point where, okay, it can even be recognized on a continental level before even global, and you have people taking, you know, backward steps saying this and beef is what makes the industry exciting. I don't stand for that in any way.
So you're more of a peace and love kind of guy.
Well, I mean, no. Well, technically, no. Really.
If you're not into beef, then you're peace and love, right?
You know, I mean, I feel like, yeah, you can have your rap beefs and everything, but don't lose sight of what's important.
The big picture.
Yeah, I mean, before you record one diss track, make sure you've got a bunch of hit tracks. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So your project, I'm curious to know, how long did it take you to complete it from start to finish? Because obviously I follow you on both social media platforms, Twitter and Instagram, and during the whole label change situation, I was following that as well. So personally, I'm really happy that you've released the project, but a lot happened, and it seemed as though you was going through a lot at the time. So I'm just curious how long that project itself took to make.
So I think I would, you know, judging by the timeline of the song, I think the oldest song on the project was recorded in 2016, and you know, the latest song on the project was recorded last month.
Nice.
So it's like, you know, it's been a constant journey. Like I've been picking and choosing, I've been taking songs out, you know, restructuring verses, you know, adjusting bits of the production, deciding, oh, who's gonna go on what feature. Like there's some songs that initially didn't have any feature on them. Last minute we had to bring someone on. Some songs that had more than one feature, last minute we had to take someone out. So like, but like I said, from 2016 to about a month ago, the last song I recorded, the producer basically hit me up, and you know, that's Young Willis, and he was like, you know, for some reason he just feels like if we get in the studio we're gonna make a hit record. And I was like, okay, say no more. He came through the next day, you know, listened to a couple of beats, and I think that we did one song, and the next song we recorded, I was like, nah, this song has to come out, it has to be on the album. So yeah.
During your label change situation, was you still making songs during that situation, or did you take a full-on pause to try and solve that first and go back to making music?
I think part of the split was me. Like at some point, it got so crazy that I just felt like, you know what, I don't even want to make music anymore. Like I feel like I don't like, it's not really, you know, because mentally I was in a place where I just felt like if I'm, you know, in the people's eyes, I have all this, you know, certain levels of success, and on my own person, like on the inside, I'm not really where I want to be.
Yeah.
So I just felt like there's no reason for me to keep living that facade and all that. So I was pretty much in Maryland with my family in the States, and I was like, I might as well just cut my dreads, you know, and just never go back to Nigeria. Just, you know, start a new life.
Well, I'm very glad you changed your mind and you decided to dye your dreads instead. From cut my dreads to dye my dreads.
Yeah, I just, at some point, you know, one of my boys in New York was like, I should come down to New York, because where my family stays in Maryland, you know, it's one of all these places very remote.
Yeah.
So it's easy to just sink into yourself and just get comfortable there, because, you know, I'm in the house with my grandma. I don't have to do much. I just wake up every day, play video games, eat, sleep. I wasn't even going to the studio. I was just like, so my guy, I was getting fat. My guy was like,
so it was like, cool, down my hair, start hitting the gym again.
my guy was like, yo, come down to New York. Like, it's a better environment for you as a creative. And, you know, a lot of people didn't know the position I was in at the time. So he pretty much thought I was still very much active as an artist. And I was like, okay, you know, I have nothing to lose. So I went down to New York and I just, you know, put a lot of things in perspective. I was like, man, like, yo, Ycee, like, you can't just quit now.
I think at one point, before you brought to light what was happening, I think I even asked Grace in the studio, like, yo, like, where's Ycee? Like, why have I not seen any music? So when you obviously announced what was going on, I was like, okay, cool, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
So obviously I know you got Miss Banks on the project as well. How many of those songs were recorded in the UK and Nigeria, and where else were they recorded? Or did you fly Miss Banks out to her?
Nah.
Ycee money, yeah?
White dollar sign.
White dollar sign. I think the Miss Banks record, that's actually, we made that record the very first time we ever met, you know. I think I'd heard a bunch of her music before I met her in the studio, and you know, we were at Fanatic Studio, and I think initially it was supposed to be, we were supposed to make Miss Banks featuring Ycee record. And you know, some way, somehow it ended up being a Ycee featuring Miss Banks record. So yeah, that was done in the UK. I think Mo Salah on the album was recorded in the UK. Wahala Day on the album was produced by a UK producer, J Biz, but I made that in Lagos. Love Like That, produced by 27, who's based in the UK, I made that in Lagos as well. So like, yeah, it's just like a bunch of songs. Some songs were recorded while I was in the States, you know, just trying to pick myself back up. Yeah. And yeah, because like anywhere I travel, most times I even travel with my own studio equipment, because I know like,
you never know when it's special.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's, you know, so many journeys, so many, you know, influences from different, because a lot of people look at, if you look at the track list, there's like different producers. I think there are about like 7 to 8, if not 9 different producers that I've worked with.
Yeah.
On the whole record, and that's just how I always keep my sound fresh. You know, I don't like to limit myself to say I'm gonna work with just this producer. I always try to work with as many people as possible. That way, it also helps my own creativity.
So in terms of the sounds in the album, like what we should be expecting, obviously you said Zaheer is more of the rapper, Ycee is more of the singer. So are we going to hear in, how do I phrase it, basically the songs that you recorded, are some of them influenced, or are we going to hear the whole situation? Are you going to come out and talk about that in the, or rap/sing about that in the project?
No, I didn't, you know, because the funny thing about that, like a lot of people always told me like it should be a part of the album, you know, to talk about it, but at the same time I just consider like, you know, this is my first album and it's pretty much gonna follow me everywhere I go. Like once you put it out, it's out.
Yeah.
You
so
know,
you don't keep thinking about all of that.
Because like, for example, like the project I worked on with Bella last year, you know, LMV, I made that when I was just coming out from a very, very, you know, long relationship that, you know, ended very messy. Yeah. So now it's like every time I listen to that
you think of that. That makes
so
sense.
You know, I was just like, I don't want my first album to be remembered by the situation I was in. I just wanted to
start
be
fresh.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, you know, it's a beacon of, okay, I was in, like you guys are aware, I was in this situation, but this is what I made out of it.
All right, now you must be happy that all the money that you're gonna receive from this project is going straight into your pocket, because you, sir, were being savage Susie on the Instagram, sending shots for certain people that we won't name. Because apparently they celebrated a milestone, but all the people that helped them get to that milestone didn't receive the funds, cash moolah. Anything to say on that topic?
I mean, I feel like I said, you know, all I needed to say publicly, because, you know, basically I was, the whole situation is one that I really just wanted to put behind me, you know, because, you know, a lot of people thought, like, because when they see artists and labels split up, they all feel like, you know, it's always the same story, but I think in my case it was different because, you know, a lot of people were hurt, you know, a lot of trust was betrayed, and it was just, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't how things should have ended ideally, but, you know, a lot of people affected just had to, you know, take that L, suck it in, and just double back and try and salvage whatever they could of the situation. So, you know, when I saw that post, you know, celebrating those streams, I won't lie, I actually lost it, and I was like, you know, the fact that I've been quiet about all that's happened or what's, you know, been through doesn't give you or anybody else the right to, you know, just rub it in the faces of the people that have contributed to this, you know. And it's not even about just the artists, you know, also like the producers that worked on the record, sound engineers, like, you know, a lot of people were actually didn't get what they should have, and you have someone that's out here, you know, celebrating the sweat of. So I just felt like I just needed to publicly say that, because, you know, the first thing that came to mind is a lot of people are gonna see you post like 100 million streams, and they're gonna feel like, oh, and that means, you know, if this person can work with this person to get 100 million streams, then I also can work with this person. But
and they end up using somebody else.
Exactly. So I just felt like I needed to just speak out. You know, I didn't say like nobody should work with this person. I just put it out there. You know, let it be said that I've said what I said. So anyone that does so, you do so at your own discretion. So.
Let's take it on a slightly brighter topic.
Come on,
So the Ain't Nobody Better Than record label. At this moment in time, are you focusing more on growing your sound and your brand, or do you have any artists, upcoming artists in mind that you've got an eye on, you might want to sign them and help them grow as well?
Well, I think, you know, for me, one of the first things I thought about when I was setting up, like, you know, the ANBT company, because I didn't want it to just be like, because most people think when artists are setting up, you know, their own establishments, it has to be solely dedicated to music creation and, you know, record label duties and all that. But, you know, for me, I'm building something bigger than just music. Like, I have in-house cinematographers and photographers at my disposal. I have like creative, you know, directors. I have management teams, A&Rs, and all that stuff.
So like an entertainment empire.
Yeah. So basically, what, you know, I don't think in the future I would ever even sign an artist, because, you know, I've been on the receiving end of, you know, the label artist situation, and, you know, a lot of time, what I've been thinking of a lot more recently is the fact that, you know, the record label and artist relationship has evolved in other parts of the world.
Yeah. But
back in Nigeria, it's still the same situation where, you know, artists are made to believe that once a label signs you and once they invested in you, they own you. So, but I'm more of like on a journey to educate and just make sure that, you know, more artists don't fall victim the same way I did. And, you know, if I'm going to be working with any artist, it's solely going to be providing support, you know, like to supplement whatever the artist is already doing. I'm not going to come into the picture and say, okay, you know, we're going to put this money down, you're going to sign over your content to us now. It's just going to be, you know, I just want to be in a position to help artists in a way that
sort of guide them. Yeah,
so it's not like I'm expecting anything back from you. I just see that you have this talent that should be heard, and, you know, we will push you to a point that you need to be pushed and let you do your own thing. So that's just how I see it. That's just how I feel like the industry should evolve back in Nigeria, because, you know, the artists themselves need to understand that, you know, regardless of the fact that the label is investing and bringing in these funds, you also are investing with your talent.
You're creating the content. The money. Like, without you, the label has nothing.
Exactly, but a lot of young artists are desperate and they don't understand. Like, even when I got my first deal, I wasn't even thinking about how, you know, I'm an asset as well. I was just thinking, yo, I'm finally glad I have someone that's going to be paying for studio time and all that. So.
Cool. And the Ycee versus Zaheer project.
When does it drop, sir? We need a release date.
Yeah, we finally have a release date, 8th of November.
Woo!
That's fun and cool now.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's already available for pre-order right now.
Yes.
You know, so
Love to see it.
I already released one song off the project. And yeah, that's like when you pre-order the album, you get that one. And I think on the the 25th, another song from the album is going to be available.
25th of October?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And, you know, on the, I think, 1st.
So it's literally a single a week?
Yeah, a single a week up until then on the 8th, you know, you get. So that's why people need to pre-order it.
Pre-order it right now.
Yeah, you get
Apple,
little
Spotify, Boomplay,
everywhere.
Tidal. What other sound? What was
Deezer, Audio Mac, Amazon,
all of them.
Tidal. You can keep going.
No illegal downloads, please.
Yes.
Yeah, support our artists, alright?
Yeah.
So when are we expecting the first video to come out? I'm assuming after the
on the 8th of November, like when the album drops, it's dropping with one of the videos from the album. So
cool.
It's go time. No more breaks to open.
Yes.
Gang. Alright, before we let you go, we need to know live shows. Anything in December since you've just dropped a project? Can we see you in person?
I need to see you. Like your first live show you did, not the first one, but the last one you did in London.
Yeah.
I was front row there by canvas. I need to see you live.
Also, I'm coming to Nigeria this Christmas, so I'd like to see you,
Yeah,
sir.
nah, Christmas is gonna be lit. That's all.
Okay, so are you trying to tell us something or?
Nah, I don't think I'm doing any headline shows yet. You know, in Nigeria, but I think I should be in some cities in Europe. I don't know, but
It's okay.
you know, initially, like we already had some dates pre-booked, but we had to move them because it wouldn't make any sense. You know, the album's just coming out.
Too fresh.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
We needed to circulate, properly promote it, so that by the time we're going to these venues, everyone's singing their heart out.
So a Valentine's show is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, probably January. Yeah, January was, you know.
And
January.
did you say those locations were Europe?
Yeah.
That's fine. I got a passport. I'm Belgian. It's okay.
Sorry, Brexit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For some of us.
Brexit.
We're not in Europe right now.
Well, I am. I'm Belgian. So
Okay, but Brexit for me.
Brexit for you. You have to pay visa to go to France. You have to pay visa.
Why is everyone kicking right now? Not understanding, not getting it.
Well, that brings us to the end of our interview with my guy Ycee in the building.
Come on.
I've been your brother Rantz.
Gracey Mae.
And we are peace.